Conversations from the Cave is a raw self-help podcast dedicated to discussing men's issues. From pornography to parenting, from religion to real life, from learning to loving. We discuss the real issues that affect real men every day. Join us each week for powerful, revealing Conversations from the Cave. Now your host, Kurt Kennedy.
Welcome to Conversations from the Cave. I am your host, Kurt Kennedy. Tonight we're joined in studio by our wonderful group of three guys. To my right, I have a gentleman by the name of Mustang. Mustang, can you give us a shout out, sir?
Hey, this is Mustang from Alabama. CJ, I got my chips, got my drink, and I'm ready to talk.
And right here in the middle, we've got my good friend B.A. B.A., can you chime in for us, sir?
This is B.A., born again believer, and just thankful to be here and ready to rock this out.
And finally, to my left, we have Nola. Nola, can you give us a shout out, sir?
This is Nola73. Meet you where you at.
Well, gentlemen, it's so great to have you guys once again. Each week we do this thing, and tonight we have kind of an interesting topic, which is masculinity and manhood. What does it mean to be a man now? Right now, we are in a very controversial time where gender identity is an area of big discussion. We have legislation where gender use of bathrooms has come into question, where gender preference and gender identity are not based upon genetic issues, but just how one feels. And we also find that the roles of men have changed, and we have new words, things like metrosexual and other kinds of things. So right now, the actual description of what masculinity means has gone through perhaps some bumps and bruises. So tonight's topic is to help firm up and help provide some guidelines or guidance in understanding what manhood means now. The roles of women have changed, and men accordingly have had to adjust. We have broached the topic of feminism. But now let's talk about masculinity and what that means and how we can be most effective in our role as men now to our sons and to our families. I'm going to start off to my right. Mustang, what does being a man mean to you? Give us a description.
Being a man for me is a very, very selfless act. That's my personal opinion. It is a selfless, family first, country first, subservient act. That to me really, really defines a man. You know, you've got a man, you've got two men, and, it's that classic, somebody's got to go in first to fight this great big enemy or this great big foe. To me, the man is the one that goes in first, is willing to lay down his life, is willing to sacrifice everything. The quote unquote man in the back, the one that's telling everybody to go forward, hey, you go in before I do, you go, that's not the man to me. And that's kind of my ideal thought of a man is someone who is actually a servant, someone who is very powerful in that aspect.
So what I'm hearing you say is there's a couple of things 2 points you actually made. One is servant leadership. So leadership by service is critical in terms of defining manhood. Secondly is being courageous. So you spoke about those two things, courageous and being having those convictions. B.A., what does being a man mean to you?
Well, first of all, let me state being a man means a lot, and I'm just like any other man. I'm working towards that and desiring to get better day by day. And really, being a man takes especially what Chris said, but I'll just talk about being a father. That's one thing that this world is losing, is the father figure, because kids go to school every day without either lunch money or, having to get free lunch because father ain't in the home, or he just, don't care. And, he pushes the kids away because he's not the father figure. But in my mind, a father is what we all need to be, along with what Chris was saying, because kids are our future. They mean a whole lot more than what we're even thinking or saying.
Okay. So your feeling on manhood is the role of fatherhood and the importance of being stalwart in that role. All right. Nola, do you have a similar view, or does your view, is it different than the other gentleman's?
It lines up with all of them, but to me, being a man, I'm going to sum it up by saying it's hard work to be a man. The reality of a man is something that a woman could never fathom. And his job, his role, his leadership, his guidance, all of that plays a big part of a man. A man must have wisdom. A man must have understanding. A man must have direction. A man must be born with skill. All of these things that a man's supposed to have needs to be equipped and taught to him by another man. Or he have to be very observant to see it in a man. A man's role in this society is complicated, but yet easy. We have a lot of struggles. We have a lot of battles. As Mustang said earlier, as a man, you're just laying down in bed and your wife hears something. He needs to get up. He needs to go assess the situation. Wisdom can kick in. Skills can kick in. Survival tactics can kick in. There's a lot of things that a man must possess that women place on a man. So to me, a man's role is extremely hard, but yet he's still a man.
Okay. All right. Well, I would like to add, first of all, I agree with many of you guys' sentiments. One, that manhood is being courageous and having the philosophy of being courageous. Manhood is being loyal to your children, your family, taking the time to cultivate those relationships and let them see you, to be compassionate and observant of the needs of those who are in your care. And also talking to Nola's point of helping to develop manhood in our offspring, the importance of showing that. Let me sort of turn the corner and get into a little bit more of a controversial place. So clearly, we've all defined manhood and masculinity in terms of sacrifice and the work that's involved and the responsibilities. What role does a person who's a transgender play in being a man? So you've got these women. Nola made the statement that women can never understand what it's like to be a man, but there are many women who are trying now to actually wear men's clothes and look like a man and take steroids, take male hormones to be more like men because they feel inside that they are manly. So where do we stand on that? I'll let you chime in on that, Nola, because it was your statement. What do you think about women trying to be men now through transgenderism?
Well, let me start off by saying they don't know how complicated it is to try to pose as a man, because let me take it to a different level. If a transgender had to go up against a real man, there's no comparison. First of all, you could never defend yourself like a man can with another man. Trying to be a man, you have none of the testosterone. You don't have the strength. You don't have the endurance of survivalness to carry the dead weight of fellow soldiers, of fellow men. The mere fact that a woman wanted to try to be a transgender, the thought is obsolete. It's really obsolete. You know, 'cause you can never walk in a man's shoes. You can never dig. You can never work as hard as a man. And I know the role in the statement that a woman can do anything that a man can has been stated for many years, but it is absolutely a lie. It's a form of this deception, and women can never think about that a man can do. You know, it's just something that you can't do. And I don't want a woman to try to fight with a man physically, but just literally trying to fight with a man about how you can do everything that a man can do is insane. You know, we don't try to go out and do everything that a woman can do. First of all, we could never push out a baby. Our body is not designed for that. You know, and even if you try to change yourself into a man, you can never put an egg or produce seeds inside of a woman to try to create a life. So you can never understand what a man has to go through.
So what I'm hearing you say is you're taking a very conservative, more traditional approach to men's roles, and also the belief, even with hormone supplementation, that a woman is still really pretty much a woman under the hormones. Do you share that same belief, BA?
This is a good topic right here. Just as I think about it, and I haven't known many transgenders. I have seen, I've probably even talked to a few because of some of the events I've had to do in my catering days. But with the transgender, they want to be something that they're not. And as we know, I'm a believer. And God made man and woman for particular things. And a man has a particular service to the woman, and the woman has particular service to the man. And we've talked about the relationship between a man and a woman in past podcasts, but to say that a woman can become a man is, I'd say, ludicrous, because there are a lot of strong women out there. There are strong women that, as you said, they do take these pheromones and hormones or whatever to get close as they can to a man. And yes, there are women in the military, and that's where I believe a lot of the concept of a true man comes from, is the idea of that strong military man, because they've been trained the right way, they've been brought up the right way through their boot camp, and you know, these men are veterans, are men that have been through a lot, and that's an atypical man. Let's just say a Navy SEAL, as an example. I mean, they have been through worse than probably any of us can imagine, because this man has killed barehanded. This man has done many things that he didn't like doing, but that's the idea that a lot of us think of when we think of a man. And for a person who wants to be that, to me, that's scary, because a woman that wants to become a man of that tenure, of that nature, because of the idea of changing.
Hold on 1 second, BA. There's a sound that's going into your microphone, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to filter that out. Do you have like a bag of chips or something that's going on in the near your microphone, or is there something going on? I hear a crackling.
I don't know. Maybe my Bluetooth is a little weak. I don't know.
Okay. Is it possible to adjust the volume down a little bit on your Bluetooth? The volume down on the microphone part?
Is that better?
Down, modify it just a little bit.
Better?
Yeah, I don't hear the snap, crackle, and pop, but I was hearing something that sounded like it was crunchy there, and I wouldn't be able to filter that out. I want people to hear what you're saying clearly. Sorry to interrupt. So what I heard you say, and then if you have additional comments, the first comment was that you feel that men who are in the military represent masculinity in a way that is, they're well trained, they're well disciplined. These are all attributes that are cultivated in military, which we respect in men. You're saying that it is uncomfortable for us to look at those kinds of behaviors in women. Is that what I'm hearing you say, or are you sharing a slightly different thought?
Well, somewhat, because I don't want to say that real women that train to be, SEALs or be whatever military force they can be, because there's great pilots in women, there's great snipers probably in women. I'm just trying to make the statement for the transgender idea, because you're trying to become something that you weren't made to be as a transgender. And I was just using the idea of that military man